Hi, my name is Tanya Sanders, and I'm in the third video of this series on blended learning. And this one is, I think on the first slide, I kind of told you guys that this was more of a suggested things that you can start using. So my last three videos are all going to be like suggested tips and tricks. And then the last one is kind of best practices for beginning that building process. We are at NWOET going to have more professional development options in YouTube and live PD, either via face-to-face whenever that's possible, and Zoom meetings or Google Meets Hangouts, where you can learn a little bit more detail about best practices related to blended learning. So the first thing that I suggest you should do based on video 2, you should figure out which blended learning model you want to start using or try to explore and turn your curriculum into. You definitely need a learning platform or management system. Now, the reason I say it that way, it's better to have a learning management system like, excuse me, Schoology, Canvas, Edmodo. I don't know if it's still popular, people, Moodle. And even Google Classroom is considered a learning management system. Seesaw, I mean, there's different platforms that you can use to integrate these things. So you definitely have to have some form of electronic way of communicating with the students, these resources, these videos, these things that you want them to do. A learning platform could also be a website. You could just create a website with several pages that leads them through. The good old days, it was a web quest, and they had several pages that the first step, this is what you do, and you had all these links, and then you explored them based on that web page, and then you went to the second web page. And I used to love teaching that, and I think it's a great concept. I think it is coming back around, but it's just not designed the same. So in your blended learning, you definitely are going to need a learning management system. A lot of teachers, and I was one of these, I didn't use syllabi for my courses. I didn't see those until I got to college. And some teachers might have a syllabus for their course right now. But I think that's something that you should consider building. It's a great grand perspective of what you want the students to do. And then that lesson plan is going to be built into that syllabus. And the reason that we do that is so the students can travel through the syllabus in a pace that's controlled by them and managed by them. And you can release the materials as you like for them, but at least they know where they're going to go through that path. It's also a nice way for you to see where things kind of connect and work together. In that syllabus and that lesson plan, you're going to have objectives, you're going to have standards, you have to tell the students what your expectations are. That's important that they understand why am I doing this? Oh, this is the reason. And, you know, it's always good to start with what are our goals? What do we want to achieve at the end? But most generally from the teacher's perspective, and you don't have to tell the students this, the goals and the objectives are good for that, but the standards, and it may be the same but worded differently, but start with the standard and see how you can build on that standard into this lesson that fits one of those types of blended learning. You should use multiple tools, digital tools. So for instance, if I'm doing a screencasting series, I may use Zoom and the students may Zoom back at me. I could use Screencastify. Students can do the same thing back, or Screencast-O-Matic or Loom. I mean, just mix it up so you're using different digital tools. And maybe one day you're going to have a class discussion through your learning management system and it's going to be all textual, or maybe you have them submit videos or audio files. And then the next time you're going to use Flipgrid and have the discussion happen that way. There's so many tools that you can use. Now, I wouldn't mix it up every day, but I would have the students get used to that tool. And when you just feel that boredom sinking in, throw another tool in there to engage them. There's so many different tools that you can use. And NWOET is going to have those series as well available for you to complete as a course to learn those tools. You have to have some reinforcement strategies. You have to be able to know how to come back and help the students understand what they're doing and then continue that teaching. because if you're going to do a model where they're expected to sit tight, sit still, and work on their own little thing and come to you only when they need you, you're going to have a way to reinforce your teaching for those students. Your role as a teacher is going to be different as well. And that is difficult for some people. It is difficult for me when I teach a flipped class. I enjoy talking to my students, and I like directing them and giving them the answers, but we have to back up and allow them to discover the answers and then be practicing those in a sneaky way from our perspective, and having them get these things in there that's reinforcing that lesson. Besides having various digital tools, you should have various assessment options. I'm huge on projects rather than to show their learning, rather than quiz with multiple choice or essay or anything like that. Of course, you can have those in there, but I would probably try some quizzes things and formative, and what's the really popular Kahoot. You can use all of these to mix up that assessment piece that you're used to. But the summative assessment, I like to use things like Canva, Buncee, Prezi, for them to explain their process to me. There's a million tools that they could use to explore that. So have various assessment options for the students to show their understanding. Collaboration is super important in an online environment. We can work all day long by ourselves in an online portion of that. We can also work all day long face-to-face, but have some opportunities for the students to work collaboratively with tools online, whether it be using a Google Doc or a Google Slide and building something together. Most of these projects can be shared and collaborated with another classmate. Also, while they're in class, even the simplest thing as answering questions from an article. Each of them can be a part of that. They can sit in a group and then discuss what they think the answer is. And a lot of times that helps come with more ideas. So also, like, looking from a perspective of the digital curriculum, like maybe look at the options that your textbook offers, things that are online that are already built for you, anything that surrounds you that you can use, even the support from your school, the tools that you have. We've had a lot of teachers call us and say, or email us and say, I think I have an Edpuzzle account. Well, you need to understand that from your district. What do you have at your fingertips? What things can you use? What things are being purchased by your district that can be utilized? And then get that learning from that, get professional development from someone, and understand that tool so that you can use that with your students to reinforce or to give them curriculum content, give them resources through digital means. So based on this short video, I want you to take an inventory of what tools are available to you at your district. Which ones are you good at? What do you like? What do you know? I suggest that you always start with what you know. Don't try to, prove something by learning 10 tools that you've never touched. You're going to blow yourself up. We've talked about taking it slow and being patient. So allowing yourself to use the tools you do know, and then go and explore another one, invite another one into your knowledge base, and then move with that one, and then introduce another one. But first, take inventory of which technology your district does have, and then maybe explore those, because if your district already has a membership to Screencastify, or they're buying the educational version of Padlet, you want to know that, because those are awesome tools that you could start with, especially if you already have a good catalog of tools that you're using. Feel like a broken record in these videos that I'm telling you that we do have supplemental resources on our website and the option for a certificate. The certificate assessment has 20 questions, and you have to attain a 80% or higher to get the certificate sent to you. And I think I allow you to take it a couple times if you want to you just have to read them closely. I tried to be obvious and funny in some of them, and but some of you may get confused a little bit. But I just want you to gain something from these videos, a little direction towards getting to that blended area, and a little comfort in knowing that you're moving in the right direction, and to be kind to yourself, and utilize this time to learn a little bit about how to improve that progression towards this type of learning design. The option too, you can always subscribe to the channel. We are going to have several series of videos that will help you explore some of these tools that your district might have memberships to. They might have paid access to them. So yeah, so be looking for the videos through subscribing to our channel, where they might be introduced to you at some point. It's been great. I'll see you in the next video.